And we're actually at our last question, and I'm going to put two questions together. So the first part is, are you in favor of reducing the Palo Alto City Council from 9 members to, I believe it's 7. Let me find that card. Yes, from 9 to 7. So that's the first part. But this other question is, Palo Altans for Sensible Zoning, PASZ, advocated for, quote, fully paid, quote, city council positions in a recent open letter to the city council. Are you a member of PASZ, and do you support full-time salaries for council members? Okay, so two-part question. One, do you favor or support the reduction? And then this open letter about full-time paid city council members. And we begin with you, Mr. Douglas.
Perfect. I was hoping I'd be the first.
Okay.
When Gennady Shiner just called me up after I pulled my papers, he asked me, why are you running? And I said, I'm only in it for the money. I was hoping he would, ask me the follow-on question from Casablanca, but there is no money in politics in Palo Alto, and I could say I was misinformed. Anyway, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we need a full paid. It's getting to be a bigger and bigger responsibility, clearly, and it's getting harder and harder to keep your thumb on the pulse of the voters, and perhaps a fully salaried position would help you do that. And so I can't say as I oppose it necessarily. I forget what the second one was now.
Well, are you a member of that group?
No.
No. Thank you. And did you support reducing the size of the city council?
I denounced the city council for the Arriaga meetings, and my chief objection was here were 9 people, and nobody objected. They followed this crazy process that nobody ever dreamed of before, and nobody said, no, let's not do this. This is transparency, not happening even a little bit. So reducing it to 7 would make it even that much easier, and so I oppose a reduction.
Thank you. Mr. Philsip?
So the two questions were
the first
reducing
one
the council
was
size.
you support reducing the size, and the second was about the group PASZ.
Yeah, PASC. So I am a member of PASC, and which in my experience is a group of very hardworking, dedicated, reasonable people who care deeply about the community and want the city to follow its own zoning codes. And so that said, I'm not sure that I agree with the proposal to make city council full-time paid employees. Larger communities do that. I'm not sure we're ready for that. We may need it at some point. As far as the city council size, I don't support reducing the size from 9 to 7. The arguments in favor of keeping it at 9, in my opinion, the compelling ones are, we have a $550 million budget and a 9-member board of directors on a publicly traded $550 million company. 9 people on the board would not be unreasonable. I know it's not an exact analogy. And the other argument is the Stanford recusal problem, which I think is significant. The arguments against, the arguments to reduce it are, basically to make meetings go faster, which I think, better meeting management can handle.
Thank
so
you.
I don't see it.
Mr. Du Bois?
Well, I wrote the ballot measure against the reduction, so I think that might answer the question.
Okay.
To me, it's a question of representation versus efficiency. Our city council is really volunteers for the region. We're on so many regional boards. I think 9 people makes it a position that a working person like me can actually consider running for council. And I think reducing it would give more power to incumbents. You know, we have 12 candidates. I think we have a healthy community, and we should keep it at 9. And also, it got put on the ballot by a 5-4 vote. It was pretty tepid, and even people that voted for it said they were 51% for it. So I'm not even sure why it's on the ballot. I am a member of PAS. And as Eric said, it's really representatives from all over the city. A lot of members of our neighborhood associations participate. I am not personally in favor of a full salary for city council. I view it as public service. I really think we should look at if the amount we pay is in line with surrounding areas for similar part-time pay.
Thank you. Ms. Shepherd?
Thank you. I am not taking a position on reducing council size. I'm not going to endorse either way, even though I am one that did put it on the ballot. I was a 4951, put it on the ballot. I have heard from this community ever since I've moved here that they're shocked to have a 9-member council, and they would like, and so I wanted to make sure we had an opportunity to vote on this, since we had a council that was willing to put it on the ballot. I am not a member of PAS. I have met with them earlier this year as mayor to work on some of the issues that we were trying to debrief after the, as the year got launched, and we started the process of the community conversation. And it was a wonderful meeting with them. And yet, I think they're a campaign committee still. And so I am not sure what their involvement on the campaign is right now at this point in time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Scharf?
Thank you. I also oppose the council reduction. I think a diversity of viewpoints has been very helpful on council, and I appreciate the larger council size. It gives more community liaisons. There are more people to respond. Frankly, there are more people to read the consent items on calendar. Having a larger council size has all sorts of benefits. And I have to say, sitting on council, whenever we have 7, because sometimes one person's recused and another person's not there, meetings never seem to go shorter. And frankly, transparency is something we really value in this community. And having 9 people creates more transparency. Having 7 creates less. So I think we should definitely support keeping the 9. I'm not a member of PAS. And what was the other part of the question?
Do you
the
support
full
their
salary.
proposal?
No,
Yeah.
I absolutely do not support the full salary. There is no community in America that's our size that has a full salary for city council that I'm aware of, and definitely not in the Bay Area. I mean, you get to cities of over 1 million like San Jose and San Francisco. You don't get our size.
Thank you. Mr. Weiss?
I cannot possibly answer this in 200 words, but I can answer it on my blog, Plastic Alto, in 500 words by 10 a.m. tomorrow. Check it out, Plastic Alto. This is a weird question. It reminds me of the David Byrne Puzzling Evidence song, which I won't sing, from the True Stories. We shouldn't even be wasting our time with this question. It's very strange. I hadn't thought of juxtaposing those 2 points. PASZ, I think, is like the phrase, are we trying to build a castle with too few bricks? As Mr. Frederick pointed out, it's sort of a red herring and non-representative going forward. I actually wrote an alternative argument against the 9-7 thing that Donna Greiter and Selim Reddy and I wrote it, and Tim Gray contributed, and Donna picked his or their statement. I'm questioning the salaries of some of our senior level staff, if that's related. But no, I do this out of love for my community.
Thank you. Ms. Holman?
Definitely do not support the reduction of the council from 9 to 7. It's a concentration of the workload, which is already extensive, and it reduces representation to the community. It's a community that has, Stanford, our own utilities are about to take over the airport, so don't support that. I'm going to speak quickly here because there's something I want to get to. I'm not a member of PAS, having to do with compensation. I don't think council members ought to be paid as full-time employees. However, I think that there ought to be some recognition of what the heavy workload is, because I do have concerns that only the people who are in the higher income levels can afford to serve on council. So I do have concerns about us having an eclectic council. The other thing I wanted to get to was, thank you, Wayne, for bringing up the 27 University, because I did oppose and raise concerns significantly throughout the period, both publicly and privately, about what was going on regarding that project, and that evidence is borne out in the public records request. And even once the project came to the council in a public forum, I had issues with and expressed concerns about how vaguely the project was described even then, even after it went on the city's website. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Koo?
I do not support the reduction to council size. It is the argument is that it will make it more efficient, but I don't see that happening even today, when there are council members who are absent. And also, it does keep transparency and diversity within the council. I also feel that with the number of council members on there with the 9, at least we have a chance of residents who are everyday people who live here in the neighborhoods and in this city. We have a chance of actually running for council. Am I a member of Palo Alto's from the Sensible Zoning? Yes, I am. I actually was a member when it was a Mabo Action Group, and then it evolved into Palo Altans to preserve neighborhood zoning, and today it is Palo Altans for Sensible Zoning. So I have been a member all the time. Keeping it, do I support full-time pay? No, I don't.
Thank you. Mr. Woolback.
So there are actually 3 questions here. Am I a member of PAS? Do I support council size reduction? And do I support full-time pay? I'm going to take the am I a member of PAS first. No, I'm not a member of PAS, but since we've given them so much airtime, I'd like to give another shout out. I am a member of Palo Alto Forward, although I'm not a leading member. I've joined that group. It represents an interesting diversity of views about transportation, housing, and I like their approach of being very open to new ideas and looking at data with a very critical eye. On council size reduction and, 30 seconds left. On council size reduction and full-time pay, these are actually intertwined. I'm not in favor of council size reduction. Although we don't have a huge city, we have a huge workload for our city council, and I'm looking to add to it by having more neighborhood meetings with council members present. So I'm not in favor of reducing the council size. If it does pass, that's a sign that Palo Altans do want a full-time professional council. If Measure D this year does pass, then I would be in favor of increasing the salary to full-time.
Thank you. Mr. Frederick.
I'm against the reduction in council size. I don't think it should be on the ballot. I think issues like that are charter changes, need to be talked about and worked through at a much slower pace. Say direct election of mayor, election by districts. One that I'm quite in favor of, a 2-year term of office rather than 4. All those things need a lot of vetting in the public arena before they're put on the ballot. Pay, are we talking $15 or $20 an hour here? First question. Secondly, I see it as a public service. I've been a school teacher. I never got what I thought was full rate as a school teacher, but because I have a pension now, I'm independently wealthy. And as for a member of PAS, I'm waiting for the definition of sensible zoning, right? We know sensible dessert eating is don't eat the whole tray. I'm not sure what sensible zoning is yet.
Thank you. Mr. Johnston.
So I'm not a member of PAS. I do not favor full-time pay for council members. I think serving on the city council is a privilege. It's a community service, and it should be regarded as such, and I don't think it would benefit the community to have full-time people who are full-time, fully paid people serving on the council. On the Measure D, I've listened to the arguments on both sides, and I see merit in both sides, frankly. I see the transparency point. I see the more access point. I also understand the efficiency point. and I'm just not going to take a position on it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Reddy.
So let's be innovative. So we could have 9, we could have 10, but no less. I think we want more representation. But also I think we want representation from all sides of South Palo Alto, Midtown, by the freeway. So I think that would be a better thing than limiting to 7. So as far as the member of PAS, no, I'm not. I'm a member of AAA, for you to know. I have a 10-year-old car. It runs well. I haven't changed oil 27,000 miles, but it's still okay. So I want a proposal where I want Jim Keane to go and buy a $2 million White House, a painted White House, and have a 9 bedrooms so we can all sleep there and be more, communicative between each other. So that's an innovative proposal. So, and I don't want anybody to give me any money unless I deserve it. So I don't want anything. Thank you. Boeing already gives me pension, and my children will give me what I need. Thank you.
Thank you.